Outside, San Francisco lay wrapped in the gentle mist of a soft autumn evening. The streets around South Market glowed under amber lights, the distant clang of a streetcar blending into the city's unhurried rhythm. The glass-house building shimmered like a gem under the night sky, its glass walls catching every flicker of light. Inside, the quiet click of heels echoed across marble floors, mingling with the hushed conversations of art connoisseurs awaiting a pivotal moment. Olivia Hart entered, the hem of her navy dress swaying with each graceful step. Her eyes shone, not just from the splendor of the evening, but from a singular focus: Silent Horizon, the final masterpiece of the renowned artist Amélie Laurent. As an independent art curator, Olivia had spent her youth chasing the finest subtleties of beauty. But tonight, it wasn't just about her career. Silent Horizon symbolized a childhood dream, the very first spark that had ignited her passion for art. Among the clink of wine glasses and the low murmur of laughter, Olivia gripped her bidding paddle tightly. A faint premonition stirred within her, that tonight, more than a painting's fate would be decided. Tonight, her own life might quietly shift course. As Olivia found her seat near the front rows, her gaze stayed locked on Silent Horizon. The soft, muted blues and grays stretched across the canvas like whispered secrets meant only for her. The auction began, paddles lifted swiftly, bids climbing higher within minutes. Olivia moved with calm precision, each bid deliberate, her focus unwavering, until he appeared. Across the room, a man in a simple yet impeccably tailored charcoal gray suit raised his paddle. He didn't spare the painting a glance, as if, for him, value lay solely in possession, not in understanding. Olivia's brows furrowed. She countered. He responded. A silent war unfolded between them. No words, only numbers and fleeting glances, charged with tension. She didn't know who he was, but every move he made screamed. This was no ordinary competitor. His name was announced when he won: Ethan Cross. The final bid soared beyond what Olivia's modest gallery could ever afford. Lowering her paddle, she felt a hollow ache tighten in her chest. Silent Horizon had slipped away, not because she hadn't fought hard enough, but because reality had its limits. As applause broke out for the winning bidder, Olivia couldn't simply sit still. She rose and made her way toward Ethan, standing confidently beside the painting. "Do you even know what you just bought?" she asked, her voice low and sharp. Ethan turned, ice-gray eyes steady as he replied, "I know exactly what I bought. Amélie Laurent's final masterpiece, Rebirth After Grief." His calmness only poured gasoline onto the fire burning inside her. "You didn't need it," Olivia snapped. "You bought it just to prove you could." Ethan's lips curved into a slight, challenging smile. "No, I bought it because I wanted to see how you would handle losing." The raw arrogance of his words stunned Olivia. Without hesitation, she raised her hand and slapped him. The sharp crack echoed across the opulent hall, drawing gasps and murmurs from the stunned crowd. Yet Ethan didn't flare up. He merely touched the reddening spot on his cheek, his gaze for the first time holding something deeper, almost intrigued. Then, before Olivia could retreat, Ethan caught her wrist, firmly but gently. His other hand cupped her chin, lifting her face toward him. "You're incredible when you're furious," he murmured, voice low and rough. And then, he kissed her. Not with force, but with a startling, aching softness that left Olivia frozen. She didn't pull away immediately. For a fleeting heartbeat, the world around them vanished, replaced by the thunder of her racing pulse. But clarity returned swiftly. Olivia pushed him away, her eyes flashing with confusion and anger. Without a word, she turned and strode out of the auction hall, her heels striking the floor like drumbeats of retreat. The next morning, San Francisco was wrapped in a pale silver mist. Olivia arrived at her gallery earlier than usual, her mind still tangled with everything that had happened the night before. When she flicked on the lights, she froze. On the largest wall, the one she had once dreamed of adorning with Silent Horizon, the painting was there, glowing softly under the pale morning light. Pinned neatly beneath the frame was a small cream envelope. Inside, she found a simple message. "On loan, 90 days, no obligations, EC. The handwriting was firm and unfamiliar, but decisive. Olivia clutched the paper. No apology, no justification, just a silent, inexplicable gesture. Most of her wanted to return the painting immediately. She didn't need charity from a man as arrogant as Ethan Cross. And so, that afternoon she made her decision. With the letter in hand and a deep breath, Olivia stepped into the private elevator leading to Ethan's penthouse. The doors opened onto a space utterly unlike what she had imagined. There was no gaudy opulence, only vibrant paintings by emerging artists, each piece pulsing with raw emotion. Anger, grief, hope. Olivia slowed her steps. She could feel the sincerity, not from words, but from every brushstroke surrounding her. In the distance, the soft notes of a piano floated through the air. Ethan sat at the keys, his back to her, playing a melancholic tune. Olivia hesitated. Her heart shifted. The man before her seemed nothing like the cold rival she thought she had known the night before. And in that fragile, unexpected moment, she realized, perhaps behind that aloof facade, there was a world she had yet to discover. Olivia stood silently in the doorway for a long moment, listening to the deep, melancholy notes filling the space. Ethan played as if unaware of her presence, each keystroke stretching into quiet longing. Finally, Olivia spoke, her voice rough. "I came to return the painting." Ethan paused, turning to face her. His gaze, so different from the night before, held no arrogance or coldness, only surprise and caution. He approached slowly, maintaining a careful distance, not intruding, not demanding. "That painting," he said gently, "isn't about pity or compensation. I simply believe it belongs where someone truly cherishes it." Olivia clenched her hands. She had rehearsed sharp words to refuse him, but now they seemed to dissolve on her tongue. Her gaze wandered around the apartment, pausing on the paintings hung casually but full of emotion. Some works she recognized, pieces by young artists known only to true lovers of art. "You collect them?" she asked, her voice softening without meaning to. Ethan nodded. "Not for investment, just because they make me feel something." They talked at first about art, then about childhood memories. Ethan told her about the first painting he ever bought, a clumsy little piece by an unknown boy at a small fair. Olivia shared the story of the first time she stood in a museum and felt her heart truly stir. The initial distance between them began to blur. The early judgments slowly washed away. When Olivia left the penthouse that evening, the sky was already blushing into dusk. She stepped outside, no longer clutching the letter of refusal she had once gripped so tightly. Inside her chest, a quiet seed had been planted, a seed of curiosity, of a tender emotion she couldn't quite name yet. One late afternoon, Olivia accepted Ethan's invitation to a small villa by Lake Tahoe, where he had said he would show her something truly peaceful. The house nestled quietly by the water's edge, its old tile roof shimmering under the sunset, surrounded by vibrant gardens of late-blooming lavender. The stillness was so profound it almost felt unreal. While Ethan was busy preparing dinner in the kitchen, Olivia wandered through the house. Classical landscape paintings hung quietly on the walls, creating an atmosphere that was both rustic and full of emotion. When she stepped into the study, her gaze accidentally fell upon a folder left casually on a wooden desk. She hadn't meant to be curious, but the bold title on the cover made her stop. Email Gallery Expansion Project Confidential Plan. Her heart pounded. EM, the initials of the small gallery Olivia managed. In the past, she had dreamed of expanding it, but that dream had always felt far away during years of financial hardship. She gently flipped open the folder. Inside was a detailed plan, new architectural designs, cost estimates, even steps for obtaining government permits. And on the final page, the signature stood out clearly, Ethan Cross. A surge of chaotic emotion swept through Olivia. Could it be that all the closeness of the past few days, the conversations about passion, the quiet moments when Ethan listened, had it all been part of a silent arrangement? There had been no word, no warning. The feeling of being controlled, of being helped without her consent, cut deep into her pride. Olivia closed the folder, her hand tightening. Without another thought, she quietly left the house, walking through the garden of late-blooming lavender, leaving behind the sound of Ethan calling her name in vain. In the small kitchen, the faint scent of rosemary mixed with an oppressive silence. Ethan stood there, unmoving, before an emptiness he had never felt so clearly before. A week passed. Olivia returned to her daily life in San Francisco, but everything seemed colorless. She threw herself into work, trying to escape her haunting thoughts. Yet, no matter how busy she stayed, her heart remained heavy, quietly aching for Ethan, for the bewildered look in his eyes that she had tried to ignore. That afternoon, while cleaning up the gallery after an exhibition, her phone rang. An unknown number. She hesitated for a few seconds before answering, and in that brief moment, her world crumbled. "Miss Olivia Hart, this is Dr. Lang from San Francisco Central Hospital. Ethan Cross, he listed you as his emergency contact. He's just been in a serious car accident." Without thinking, Olivia ran out of the gallery, her heart pounding so hard it hurt. When she arrived at the hospital, she caught a glimpse of Ethan through the emergency room window. He lay motionless, his body bruised and broken, his skin pale as paper. "Unconscious on the highway," the doctor said gravely. "Signs of severe sleep deprivation, likely due to prolonged stress. We performed surgery to stop internal bleeding, but his condition remains critical." Olivia collapsed onto a cold bench in the hallway. She buried her face in her hands, letting the first tears fall, not out of anger, not out of pride, but pure, consuming fear. She stayed through the night, refusing to leave. Memories flooded back. Their first encounter at the auction, his quiet gaze on a rainy afternoon at the penthouse, the soft laughter over silent cups of coffee. Olivia realized she had never truly left Ethan, not in her heart. The hours dragged on, heavy with silence and the beep of hospital monitors. She rested her forehead against their clasped hands, whispering broken prayers into the sterile air. And now, if he didn't wake up, she would have no chance left to forgive, to love, to start over. She reached for Ethan's hand, her voice trembling as she whispered, "Please, please don't leave me." The next morning, as the first rays of sunlight slipped through the small ICU window, Olivia was still there, her hand never letting go of Ethan's. Her grip tightened when she felt a faint movement. Ethan's brow furrowed slightly, his eyelids fluttering before slowly opening. His pale gray eyes, clouded with exhaustion, still found her. Olivia choked back a sob, tears spilling freely. "You're awake," she whispered, as if speaking louder might shatter the fragile moment. Ethan tried to squeeze her hand tighter, his voice weak but full of sincerity. "I'm sorry." Olivia shook her head, tears falling onto their clasped hands. "No," she whispered back. "I'm the one who should apologize. I let fear and pride cloud my judgment. I didn't give you a chance to explain." Ethan's eyes never left hers, weary but unwavering. "I never wanted to control you, Olivia," he said, each word slow, as if drawing on every ounce of strength he had. "I just wanted you to have everything you deserve." Olivia squeezed his hand tighter, guilt crashing over her. "I was afraid," she said softly. "Afraid that if someone stepped into my life and made things better, it wouldn't feel like my victory anymore. I was scared of losing my freedom, of losing myself." Ethan gave her a faint, tender smile, weak but filled with warmth. "You never lost yourself," he whispered. "You just needed to know you didn't have to fight alone anymore." Olivia leaned down, gently resting her cheek against his hand. And in that moment, every misunderstanding, every wound between them seemed to dissolve, leaving only gratitude and a love quietly blooming from the cracks they had once thought impossible to heal. 3 weeks later, EM Gallery buzzed with preparations for its largest exhibition since its founding. Warm light flooded the space, each painting carefully hung, drawing the admiring eyes of critics, collectors, and art lovers from all over San Francisco. Olivia stepped onto the small stage under the gentle spotlight. She wore a simple pearl-colored dress, her hair falling naturally over her shoulders, her face glowing not just with success, but with something deeper: peace. She took the microphone, her gaze sweeping across the crowded room, before settling on the front row, where Ethan sat, his eyes never leaving her. "Welcome, everyone," Olivia began, her voice steady. Tonight is not just an exhibition. It is proof of a journey. From doubt to trust, from hurt to healing. She paused, her eyes shining with warmth. And there is someone who believed in me even when I doubted myself. Someone who quietly supported me without pressure, without demands, simply believing that I could. Olivia smiled, the softest, most genuine smile, for Ethan. That person is Ethan Cross. The room fell silent for a beat before erupting into warm, heartfelt applause. Ethan rose to his feet. The light brushed over him, tall and composed, but his eyes were impossibly tender as he looked at Olivia. Without a word, they moved closer, hands meeting in a silent, steadfast grasp. A new beginning, under a sky full of lights and hearts quietly healing. One sunlit morning, Ethan took Olivia to Carmel by the sea, where silver-tipped waves tirelessly kissed the soft white sand and the breeze carried the salty scent of the ocean. They walked together, barefoot, their footprints tracing a quiet path on the shore. No words were needed, only the gentle silence connecting their hearts. When the sun reached its peak, Ethan stopped. From his pocket, he pulled out a small, delicate seashell, a gift from the sea itself. "You once said," Ethan smiled, "that love is like the ocean, vast, deep, unpredictable, but breathtakingly beautiful." He knelt down and opened a small velvet box. Inside, a simple ring gleamed brightly under the sunlight. "Olivia Hart," he said, his eyes shining like stars. "I can't promise every day will be easy, but I promise to hold your hand through every storm. Will you marry me?" Olivia's throat tightened. She looked at him, tears shimmering, and slowly nodded. "Yes." The waves whispered along the shore, as if blessing their silent promise. A few months later, they were married in the small garden behind EM Gallery, the very place that had once sheltered quiet dreams, now becoming the beginning of a new chapter. The ceremony was simple and warm, attended only by close friends, under soft strands of golden lights, with gentle jazz music floating through the evening air. Olivia wore a simple white dress, her hair falling naturally. Ethan, dressed in a navy blue suit, gazed at her as if nothing else in the world existed. They exchanged vows that were not grand, but carried everything that mattered: trust, understanding, and the choice to love each other every single day without condition. Ethan slipped the ring onto Olivia's finger with hands that trembled slightly, not from fear, but from a joy too large for words. Olivia's smile, through tears, lit up the twilight garden. And so, a small family began, simple, genuine, and steadfast, just like the love they had nurtured from the most fragile beginnings.